the members of the Massachusetts Teachers Association, working together for students, public education, and our communities.
Good evening. As a union president, I challenge the status quo when it's necessary. Like the time the president of the Concord Teachers Association and I brought our members to a school committee meeting to talk about the serious problems in the district. Well, the school committee suddenly changed their decade-old policy and would no longer let employees speak. But like any good organizer, you're prepared for anything and everything. So I stood in the middle of the room and I shouted, "Is there a parent who would read my comments?" Because I knew there would be, and they didn't like that stunt. I'm openly critical of ed reform. I organize my members to achieve their goals, and I even taught the bus drivers how to organize a campaign to fight against privatization. So it's fitting that I teach in a school named after Henry David Thoreau. And my faculty there take pride in living in the spirit of our namesake. I also come from a family of educators who have a strong tradition of speaking up for what's right. My father actually lost his job as a principal when he stood up and fought against school closure. Thoreau was once a place where it was okay to disagree. But that all changed in 2010 under a new principal, and that's where my story begins. Teachers became a target. They lost their voice. Parents lost their voice. And I, as union president, was retaliated against. From the get-go, the principal would respond to disagreement like this and like this. And for the very first time in my career, my then 15-year career in Thoreau, I was rated unsatisfactory. The superintendent suggested that if we just learned how to respect authority, everything would be fine. I was subjected to 3 years of a nefarious evaluation system and got the VIP treatment with 4 administrators participating. I was put on an improvement plan. I was observed regularly. I was required to hand in weekly lesson plans and received no feedback. And I was assigned to a colleague to mentor me. When my colleague stood up for me, she became a target. And she was frightened because we were all living in this climate of fear. But she found her courage in our solidarity. Every single observation was short on substance and tall on fabrication. My mother died during this period. And when I asked for a reprieve from writing lesson plans, the answer was no. It was the time in the world when the Arab Spring hit the world stage, and these were my people. And I thought, if they could risk torture, disappearance, death, I could put up with this. And when the principal had nothing nice to say to me, I remembered what Eleanor Roosevelt once said. No one has the right to make you feel inferior without your consent. I did not consent to let them make me feel like an inferior teacher. By mid-year of the 3rd year, my teachers union, the Concord Teachers Association, our retired president, who was a resident, and key parents started preparing to fight my imminent dismissal. And finally, 3 years and 18 negative evaluations later, the moment we had been waiting for came. April 30th was the morning of my summative meeting. We knew it was going to be a big day. We didn't know exactly what it was going to be, but it was going to be big. So we lined the halls with members from across the district, and they made a purposeful ruckus in the hall while inside the meeting. My principal, with the school committee lawyers, announced that I would not be recommended for rehire. News spread like wildfire, and by 4 o'clock that afternoon, we had members from my Teachers Association, the Concord Carlisle Teachers Association, parents, retirees, rally on the superintendent's office, where we just coincidentally had a labor management committee scheduled that day. That was the day that I felt liberated. We sustained an organizing campaign until the end of the year to stop my termination. And there were incredible acts of solidarity between both teachers' associations, the bus drivers, my parents, my former students, retirees, and residents. The MTA came out in full force. The communications team and the legal department and affiliate services understood that litigation worked in tandem with organizing, and she couldn't fire me. The superintendent involuntarily transferred me, but we filed a prohibited practice charge. And the Department of Labor, who hears the lawsuit, classified the case as a high priority case and expedited it. She was forced to resign. And I have two people here who were part of that experience. In the end, we couldn't stop my transfer. But we settled the case through mediation. I was transferred from 3rd grade down to kindergarten in a different building. Even though I didn't get everything that I wanted, we won everything that I needed. I have a principal who's fair, who recognized my talents. The years of negative evaluations have been cleaned from my file. And I'm proud to say I just finished teaching my first year of kindergarten. I stayed on the improvement plan through the year, but at the near to the last month of the year, the choke chain of that improvement plan came off. And 3 days later, I signed up to speak at the school committee. And I spoke out against high-stakes testing and the standardization of education. Thank you.